Bud Harrelson and the first place New York Mets in Montreal Wednesday night to take on the third place Montreal Expos. And as you can see, the roof is up at Montreal's Olympic Stadium, so they'll play with the fresh air. Pick it up in the bottom of the second inning. Ron Darling on the mound for the Mets. He'll get a great play from his center fielder, Keith Miller, taking away a base hit from Andres Galarraga. On the mound Wednesday evening for the Montreal Expos, starter Zane Smith. Here in the top of the third inning, Smith will strike out Kevin Elster looking. Moving to the bottom of the third inning, runners on first and third, no outs. Zane Smith helps himself. He grounds into a double play, but Tom Foley would score from third base, giving Montreal a 1-0 lead. Then later in the bottom of the third inning, Delino DeShields hits a ball up the middle, but Greg Jeffries makes a nice play to get DeShields at first base. Greg Jeffries, celebrating his 23rd birthday Wednesday evening, makes a fine play. Then in the bottom of the fifth inning, Zane Smith helps himself out once again. Here he'll hit into a force play, but the Mets can't turn the double play. Mike Audretti scores. Montreal led 2-0 after 5 innings. Then in the top of the sixth inning, the Mets get one back. Here, Mark Carrion lines a single to left field, scoring Greg Jeffries. Montreal led 2-1. But in the bottom of the sixth inning, Andres Galarraga gets all of it. He hits his 13th home run, a 2-run shot to left field. Montreal took a 4-1 lead after 6 innings. Then in the top of the eighth inning, the Mets would stage a comeback. Here, Greg Jeffries would line a single to right center field. This would score Keith Miller, and the score was 4-2. Then later in the top of the eighth inning, with Montreal leading 4-3, Darryl Strawberry grounds a ball to Delino DeShields. Kevin McReynolds looks like a linebacker. He takes DeShields to the ground. That was the first out of the inning. Then Dave Magadan would ground into an inning-ending double play. Controversy on the play at first base. Andres Galarraga holds on to the ball. The inning's over. The Montreal Expos hold on to their 4-3 lead in the top of the eighth inning, but Bud Harrelson claims that Andres Galarraga's foot was off the bag. He gets tossed from the game. Mets manager Bud Harrelson unhappy with the call because the tying run would have scored on the play if they called Andres Galarraga's foot off the base. Bud Harrelson not the only one to get kicked out of this game. Darryl Strawberry, between innings while going out to his spot in right field, was also kicked out of the game. Darryl Strawberry didn't like the call, and he wanted to get some words in himself. At this point in the game, it appeared the Montreal Expos were on their way to defeating the first-place New York Mets. But in the top of the ninth inning, bullpen ace Tim Burke would give up a 2-out home run to Tim Tuffle. Tuffle's home run, a pinch-hit solo shot, his third home run of the year. That was Tim Raines in left field banging the wall. This made the score 4-4 and sent the game into extra innings. Then in the top of the 12th inning, Greg Jeffries would get the game-winning hit. Here he singles to left center field, scoring Keith Miller, giving New York a 5-4 lead. The Mets added one more run in the top of the 12th inning to make the final score 6-4, the Mets over the Montreal Expos.
Thursday afternoon baseball action from Montreal, Canada, as the New York Mets come into today's action with a 1 full game lead over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pick up action in the bottom of the third inning with the roof open today at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Here in the bottom of the third, Delino DeShields will hit a double to the gap in right center field. Spike Owen will score, RBI number 21 for DeShields, and the Expos are on the scoreboard first at 1-0. Move now to the top of the sixth inning. Craig Jeffries will come up, and he will hit a triple that will hit off the wall in right field. Marquise Grissom tries leaping for it, but it's just out of his reach. Howard Johnson scores, RBI number 47 for Jeffries, as he goes safely into third base, and the game is tied up at 1 apiece. Still in the top of the sixth inning, Darryl Strawberry comes up, and he singles into center field, delivering home Jeffries, RBI number 68 for Strawberry. The Mets lead it by a score of 2-1. Frank Viola pitching another fine ball game here in the bottom of the sixth inning. He strikes out Andres Galarraga to end the sixth inning with his sixth strikeout of the ball game. In the top of the eighth inning, the Mets open up this ball game for good as first Darryl Strawberry comes up and smacks a 2-run home run to deep center field, his 26th of the year. That now gives him the National League lead in home runs. RBIs number 69 and 70 as Magadan scores, and the Mets lead it by a score of 4-1. This coming off starter and loser Dennis Martinez. Very next batter, Kevin McReynolds, will also hit a solo home run to left field, number 14 for McReynolds, and the Mets take a 5-1 lead That's the way this one finishes up, as Frank Viola gets the win. As he goes the distance, his record is now 15-5. Martinez with the loss, his record drops to 7-8. As once again the Mets win it 5-1.
Montreal Expos in the bottom of the first. Mark Grace would put the Cubs on the board first with his 2-run double. It comes off Expos starter Mark Gardner, and it would drive in Jerome Walton and Ryan Sandberg. Chicago with a 2-0 lead. After an RBI single by Luis Salazar and then an RBI double by Sean Dunston, make it 4-0 Cubs. It would be pitcher Mike Harkey who would help out his own cause as he doubles down the left field line. And this would drive in Dunston and Joe Girardi, and the Cubs score 6 times in the bottom of the first as they jump all over the Expos 6-0. Then in the bottom of the second, a close call as Andre Dawson fouls this ball off his leg and suffers a knee bruise. He'd leave the game, and his status listed as day-to-day. Moving on to action in the top of the sixth, Larry Walker bats for the Expos. The score now 9-2. Earlier, teammate Jerry Goff hit a solo home run, and this time Walker hits a 2-run home run, his 12th of the year. This comes off Harkey, and it makes it 9-4 Expos, trailing the Cubs. Larry Walker, a 2-run blast, and the Cubs increase their lead to 10-4. In the bottom of the sixth, Luis Salazar hits this solo home run, his 9th of the year. And through 6 innings, Chicago holds a 10-4 advantage over Montreal.
And that would be the final in this one, as Mike Harkey becomes the first Cubs rookie pitcher to win 10 games since 1972 when Rick Russell did it. Here he ends the 4th inning by striking out Galarraga, the final 10-4 Cubs.
Line drive, base hit, extra bases. 2 runs are in. And Grace now changes his mind as Larry Walker has a great throwing arm. It is not an extra base hit. It's a 2-run single. Base hit, center field. A run's going to score. And it's a 2-1 ball game. Larry Walker on a 2-2 pitch. Lined a single to center, driving in his 32nd run of the year. Now the pitch. There is a base hit. A run is in. Dave Clark singles sharply in the center field. And it's a 3-1 ball game. Line drive, base hit on the fastball. Here's a run racing for the plate. Throw to the plate, up the line. The runner is safe.
And it's 1-0 to Dawson. There's a drive to deep left center field, and it is gone. 2-run home run for Andre Dawson. It's a 6-1 Cubs lead. The 1-0 pitch, and it's a drive down the left field line and fair. Walton will score. Here comes Sandberg. Grace being waved around. All 3 runners scored, and the Cubs now go up 9-1.
There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It is a home run. Larry Walker. That's the 3rd home run he's hit this year off the Cubs, and the 13th all told against everybody.
To the bottom of the 6th inning, Mark Grace comes up and he doubles down the first base line. Jerome Walton scores RBI number 41 for Grace, and the game is tied up at 1 apiece. The very next pitch, Andre Dawson will come up, and Dawson will triple off the top of the left field wall. And if you look very closely, you can see it will hit off one of the Cub fans' glove as the ball goes back down onto the field. Mark Grace scores RBI number 70 for Dawson, and the Chicago Cubs take a 2-1 lead. If you look very closely, it hits off one of the Cub fans' glove, and it falls down onto the field. Don Zimmer going out there as this Cub fan showing where it hit off his glove. And if we look very closely, you can see it was a bad call. Then the bottom of the 7th inning, Sean Dunston on third base will try to steal home, but Mike Fitzgerald steps out in front of home plate, which is ruled catcher's interference as Dunston is allowed to score, and the Cubs score their final run as they win it by a score of 3-1. Greg Maddox with the win, his record now 9-9. Dennis Oil Can Boyd takes a loss, his record drops to 6-4. So once again, the Cubs win it 3-1.
Baseball Commissioner Fay Vincent on hand Tuesday night in Pittsburgh as the Pirates played host to the Montreal Expos. In the top of the first, the Expos jumped out to an early lead as Marquise Grissom gets his 17th RBI of the year off of John Smiley. This brings Otis Nixon around to score, and the Expos take an early 1-0 lead at the end of one. But things would start to fall apart a little bit on the Montreal Expos as we take a look at Greg Walker. Big hole in his knee. And here's how it happened. Gary Reedus, the foul ball down the right field line. And Walker just can't hold on as he runs into the fence. And he takes a little bit of frustration out on the fence. But the Expos would hang tough until the bottom of the 8th with the score tied 2-2. And Expo reliever Steve Fry in the game. Sid Bream takes Fry deep to right field. This is a solo home run and Bream's 12th home run on the year. And this gives Pittsburgh a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 8th as we take another look at Sid Bream's home run swing. And then he comes out of the dugout to acknowledge the crowd as Pittsburgh goes up after 8, 3-2. But in the top of the 9th, Otis Nixon can get his 10th RBI of the year as he loops one in the center field. This brings Dave Martinez around to score. And now the score is tied 3-3 after the top of the 9th. And on into extras we go. And in the top of the 11th with Scott Ruskin on the mound and Dave Martinez at the plate. Martinez pops one straight up behind home plate. Don Slaught can't get the handle on it. As we take another look, as Slaught just flat out drops the ball. And then in the top of the 12th, Pittsburgh reliever Mark Ross. After just being called up today, here he strikes out Dale Mahorsic. And this sets the table for Jay Bell in the bottom of the 12th. Bell hits a sacrifice fly to right field. This allows Jose Lean to score as Pittsburgh goes on to win 4-3. Mark Ross gets his first win. He's 1-0. Dale Mahorsic gets the loss. He's 1-2.
Buck Rogers and the Montreal Expos in Pittsburgh Wednesday evening to take on the Pirates, trying to end a 6-game skid. But the Pirates would strike first. Bottom of the 3rd, John Cangelosi was playing in Buffalo last night with this RBI single, scoring Wally Backman from 3rd, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh. The Expos would tie the score in the top of the 5th inning. That's when Spike Owens would single to right field, scoring on the play Andre Galarraga, RBI number 27 for Owen, and we are tied at 1. The Expos would take the lead in the top of the 6th inning. Davey Martinez on the ground out to shortstop, but Delino DeShields scores on the play, RBI number 25 for Martinez. Montreal 2-1. A nice outing for Dennis Martinez as he would strike out 5 through the first 6 innings. Here he gets shortstop Jay Bell looking in the 6th inning. Top of the 7th inning, and it will be Davey Martinez as he would put the Expos ahead 3-1 with this RBI single to center field, scoring Spike Owen on the play. A big 7th inning for the Expos as they would come up with 4 runs. Timmy Raines with 2 of them as Raines will double to right center field off of starter Doug Drabeck on the play. Delino DeShields and Davey Martinez will come in to score as the Expos go on top 5-1. Still in the 7th inning, and the next batter would be Timmy Wallach, and Wallach would come up with his 69th RBI on the season, a league-leading 33rd double. Timmy Raines stumbling around 3rd will score 6-1 Montreal. And that would be plenty for Montreal pitcher Dennis Martinez as he goes the distance, picking up just his 2nd win since the All-Star break. As the Expos defeat Pittsburgh 6-2, Martinez now 8-8 on the year. Doug Drabeck dropping to 14-5.
Friday evening from Montreal, Andres Galarraga and the Expos took on the Philadelphia Phillies in the bottom of the 1st inning with no score. Galarraga got the Expos on the board when he grounded a single right field. This knocked in Tim Raines, RBI 60 for Galarraga, and the Expos led 1-0. In the bottom of the 2nd inning, they increased their lead to 2-0 when Spike Owen doubled down the left field line, knocking in Mike Fitzgerald all the way from first base. He was running on the pitch, and the Expos led 2-0 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. They later made the score 3-0 on a ground out. Then the top of the 6th inning, a rare occurrence at a baseball game, or in fact anywhere, some form of Canadian currency came floating down from the upper deck, and various fans reached out to grab it, and finally snagged by this fan right here. And the very next pitch, the Phillies got on the board, as Charlie Hayes singled the middle off Will Cam Boyd. Dale Murphy scored, RBI 45, and the score was 3-1. Later, sac fly made the score 4-1. As Montreal had the lead, Will Cam Boyd pitched a strong game, allowing just 1 run on 4 hits, walking 2, striking out 4 over 6 innings. And here back in the first, he struck out Von Hayes, the first of his 4 strikeouts in the game. In the top of the 9th inning, with 2 outs, the Phillies made things really interesting as Darren Dolan contested for a 2-run home in right field off Montreal reliever Tim Burke. It was his 9th home run this season, and the lead was cut to 4-3 as Lund Dykstra scored on the home run. Steve Fry then replaced Tim Burke, and he got the next batter, Von Hayes, to fly out to right field to end the game. The Expos won 4-3. Boyd got the win, he's 7-4. Terry Mulholland got the loss, he's 6-6. Steve Fry picked up his 5th save this season.
Nixon was the story on Tuesday night in San Diego as he reached base 5 times with 4 hits and a walk and drove in 4 runs. Top of the first inning, 1 out and nobody on. Nixon takes Dennis Rasmussen deep and gives the Expos a 1-0 lead. He added 3 more RBIs on 3 RBI singles. Top of the 3rd inning, after Gary Templeton had tied the score at 1 apiece with 2 outs, Bip Roberts the batter as he takes a look at his bat with Mike Pagliarulo at second base and Gary Templeton at first. Dennis Martinez the pitcher, and Bip Roberts doubles into the left center field gap as Tim Raines and Otis Nixon can't come up with it. Pags and Templeton score, and that gives San Diego a 3-1 lead as they score 3 runs in the top half of the 3rd. In the bottom of the 3rd, Otis Nixon added an RBI single to make it 3-2. Then in the top of the 4th, Mike Fitzgerald will tie it up with this single up the middle. Scoring on the play is Andres Galarraga, and it's all tied up at 3 apiece. The next batter up to face Rasmussen in the top of the 4th with no outs would be Spike Owen. He hits this one to second baseman Roberto Alomar. He tries to tag Fitzgerald. Safe on the play is Owen, and they get Fitzgerald hung up as Templeton tags him up. Marquise Grissom scored on the play, and the Expos led it 4-3. Still in the top of the 4th with Eric Shaw now pitching in 2 outs. Otis Nixon singles in his 3rd run of the game. As Mike Owen scores on the play, that makes it 5-3 Montreal. They add 3 more in the top of the 9th and now lead it 8-3 in the 9th inning thanks to 4 RBIs and 4 hits by Otis Nixon. Dennis Martinez pitches the 5-hitter as he goes all the way for the complete game victory. Here he gets Mike Pagliarulo to bounce out to end it. The final is 8-3 Montreal. Martinez is now 9-8. Dennis Rasmussen is now 8-11, and the Montreal Expos beat San Diego on Tuesday night.
Friday night in Los Angeles, it's the Expos and the Dodgers. Bottom of the 1st inning, Andres Galarraga has Eddie Murray's ground ball go by him for an error into right field. Lenny Harris scores 1-0 LA. Top of the 2nd inning, Jim Needlinger were to get some help from ex-Expo Hubie Brooks on this play as he makes a diving snow cone catch on this Andres Galarraga sinking line drive towards right field. A nice catch by Hubie Brooks with one more look as we see the ball bouncing around in Brooks's glove, but it stays in for the out. LA scores 4 times in the bottom of the 2nd. The big hit being Cal Daniels triple down the right field line into the rounded corner. In right, Harris and Kirk Gibson score RBI 60 and 61 for Cal Daniels. 4-0 LA, 5-0 after 2. Bottom of the 4th inning now with the score 6-0 LA. Cal Daniels would strike again. This time he hits a solo homer to center field at number 19 for Daniels. RBI 62 is 3rd of the ball game, and the Dodgers lead 7-0. But Montreal would score 5 in the top half of the 5th inning. That would be capped off by this Tim Raines 3-run homer to right field, his 5th of the year. He picks up DeLionel DeShields and Dave Martinez. And Montreal is back in this game, and the score is 7-5 after 4.5 innings. No more scoring until the top half of the 8th inning when Mike Aldretti will hit a solo homer to dead center field over Kirk Gibson's head. It's his first home run of the year, and it's 7-6 LA in the 8th.
Second game as the Dodgers took on the Montreal Expos. In the bottom of the 4th inning with no score, Eddie Murray gave the Dodgers the lead as he connected for a 2-run homer to left field. His 19th of the season, RBI 72 and 73 as Kirk Gibson scored in the home run, and the Dodgers led 2-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's another look at that home run swing of Eddie Murray. Gone the second he hit it. Two brothers having some fun in Dodger Stadium, having a good old slap fight. Had some excitement this evening. In the top of the 5th inning, Montreal tied up the game when Tim Raines came up and belted a second home run in as many nights, his 6th of the season, a 2-run shot to left center field just past Kirk Gibson's reach. This came off Dodger starter Fernando Valenzuela. Otis Nixon was on board for the home run, 2-2 in the top of the fifth. In the bottom of the seventh, though, Stan Javier rounded a single to left field. This knocked in Alfredo Griffin. RBI 18 for Javier, and the Dodgers led 3-2 in the bottom of the seventh. 3-2 was the final. Fernando Valenzuela picked up the win to raise the record to 10-10 in the season. And here back in the top of the first inning, he struck out Delino DeShields, first batter he faced. Moving to the top of the ninth inning, Jim Gott picked up his third save of the season when he struck out pinch hitter Mike Aldrete, 10 the game. The Dodgers won 3-2. Fernando got the win. He's 10-10. Mel Rojas got the loss in relief. He's 0-1. Jim Gott picked up his third save of the season. Once again, the Dodgers 3-2 over the Montreal Expos Saturday evening in Los Angeles.
From Dodger Stadium, policewoman Angie Dickinson on hand to see the Dodgers host the Montreal Expos. Top of the first inning with 2 outs. Tim Wallach, the batter, against Ramon Martinez. He pops this one back. Watch this great catch by Mike Scioscia as he catches it right near the dugout and comes up with the ball for the final out in the inning. Then Jose Offerman, making his Major League debut, became the 61st player in Major League history to hit a home run in his first at-bat. Last time it happened was Junior Felix last season with the Toronto Blue Jays. That gave the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. So that one came off of Dennis Martinez to lead off the bottom of the first. He had quite a Major League debut as he went 3 for 5 on the day. Jerry Goff would tie it up in the top of the fifth with his 5th home run of the season as he led off against Ramon Martinez. This one tied the score at 1 apiece, and Ramon Martinez took the loss in this game as he is now 15-6 as you take one more look at this home run swing of Jerry Goff. And Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda probably getting tired of the ultra slim fast diet. He's thinking about that hot dog, one of those Dodger dogs that they sell at the ballpark. In the top of the seventh, Ramon Martinez still pitching. Delino DeShields with the single in the left field. Foley tries to come home, but Cal Daniels guns it to Mike Scioscia, who does a beautiful job of blocking the plate. And that ended the top of the 7th inning. Mike Scioscia not so sure that he had the ball, though, as you'll see from this replay. Foley tries to slide under him, but Scioscia's too big. He tags him out and then has to look around for the ball, but it's in his glove as he shows it to the home plate umpire, Jerry Lane. Dennis Martinez went 8 innings to win his 3rd straight as he improved to 10-8. He allowed 7 hits and walked 4 while striking out 7. Here in the 8th inning, he strikes out Cal Daniels looking, so Dennis Martinez gets the win in this one. In the top of the 9th, Dave Martinez singled with 1 out off of loser Ramon Martinez, who was replaced after going 2-0 on the next batter, Jerry Goff. Howell walked Goff, and after a flyout by Tom Foley, Howell then allowed this 2-out pinch hit single by Mike Aldrete into left field, which scored Dave Martinez with the winning run. That made it 2-1 Montreal, and they held on from there as Steve Fry picked up his 6th save as he pitched the 9th.
Buck Rogers and the Montreal Expos in San Francisco Tuesday night to take on the Giants. The Giants score 3 runs in the bottom of the first. The first run coming off this Mike Kingery RBI double to left center field, scoring Brett Butler RBI 15 on the year for Kingery. Then it would be Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell with Matt Williams on third. He will deliver off of Dennis Boyd a line drive into left field. This is ruled a catch by Timmy Raines. Kingery tagging and scoring to make it 2-0. Then Ernest Riles will finish off the scoring with this double to right center field. He'll get his 16th RBI, scoring Will Clark. It's 3-0. With the score 4-0, Mike Fitzgerald, the batter, in the top of the 5th inning. He will hit his 8th home run of the season, a 2-run shot, RBIs 29 and 30 off of starter John Burkett. And the Giants' lead is cut in half, 4-2. The two teams would exchange runs, making it 5-3. But then in the top of the 6th inning, Larry Walker would pick up his 14th homer of the year. This one a 2-run shot high into the upper deck in right field. RBIs 34 and 35, and we are tied at 5. Davey Martinez would break the tie in the top of the 2nd with a hard grounder off of Will Clark at first, ruled an error. Spike Owens scores as the Expos lead it 6-5. Update from San Francisco with the Expos leading 7-5. Timmy Raines would come up with 2 runners on, and Raines will come through with a single, scoring both those runners to make the score 9-5. RBIs number 49 and 50 for Raines. Coming in to score is Spike Owens and Delino DeShields for Montreal. They hold a 9-5 lead. They are in the top of the 9th in San Francisco.
Eddie Murray and the Dodgers in Montreal Friday night. In the top of the first with one out, Eddie Murray hits a ground ball to Spike Owen. Mike Sharperson gets caught in a rundown between second and third. It's Owen to Tim Wallach, back to Owen. Chris Neighbols tags out Sharperson, but Stan Javier scores, and it's 1-0 LA. For Murray, it's his 78th RBI of the year. This Montreal fan trying to get things started for the Expos, and it works in the bottom of the fourth with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Delino DeShields with a sharp ground ball right off Juan Samuel's glove. Goff and Spike Owen score. It's 2-1 Expos. RBIs 28 and 29 on the season for DeShields. In the bottom of the seventh, nobody out. Tim Wallach will make it 3-1 Montreal. He loops a single to right field off of Mike Morgan. Dave Martinez scores, and it's 3-1 Expos in the bottom of the seventh. For Wallach, it's his 78th RBI of the season. That was all the action for Mike Morgan tonight. In the top of the eighth, Kirk Gibson's sacrifice fly made it 4-2 Montreal. Then with the bases loaded, Steve Fry gets Rick Dempsey to fly out to deep center field to end the Dodgers' threat. In the bottom of the eighth with 2 outs, Delino DeShields makes it 5-2 Expos with his 3rd home run of the year, a solo shot to right field off Don Ossie. It's 5-2 Montreal. That's the final score as the Expos snap LA's 5-game winning streak. Chris Neighbols picks up the win. He's now 3-0. He went 7 innings. He gave up 1 run on 1 hit, and he struck out 5. Here back in the top of the second inning, he strikes out Juan Samuel. Mike Morgan takes the loss. He falls to 10-12. Steve Fry with his 7th save. 5-2 Montreal.
Buck Rogers and the Expos host the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers batted around in the top of the first inning, and it all started with the first batter, Lenny Harris. He had a leadoff home run off the top of the right field fence. This was his 2nd home run of the season, and it gave the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. Still in the top of the first, Mike Scioscia will hit a single up the middle to score Cal Daniels. This makes it 3-0. They had made it 2-0 on a sacrifice fly. And then Jim Neidlinger, the LA starter, hits a ground ball single up the middle that scores Murray, making it 4-0 LA, and that's how it stood after 1/2 inning of play. The Expos got 1 run back on a sacrifice fly, but then in the top of the 4th inning, the Dodgers exploded again for 4 more runs. Here, Cal Daniels hits his 20th home run of the year, a 2-run shot that scores Gibson, making the score 6-1 Dodgers. That gave Daniels 65 RBIs for the season. Later in the same inning, Mike Sharperson hit a 2-run home run with Tony Gwynn on base. That was Sharperson's 3rd home run of the season, and it made the score 8-1 Los Angeles in the 4th. Then in the top of the 5th inning with the score 9-2 Los Angeles, Cal Daniels hit his 2nd home run of the game, a 2-run shot to right field, giving him 21 home runs for the season. That made the score 11-2 Dodgers. The Dodgers scored 4 runs in the 5th inning, and the inning ended on a great play by Mike Aldretti, making a nice catch on the ball hit by Alfredo Griffin. The Dodgers went on to win this game easily despite this 3-run homer by Tim Wallach in the bottom of the 5th. The final score was 12-5 LA. The winner Cruz is 2-4. The loser Gardner is 7-8.
In the Montreal Expos at home Tuesday evening, looking for win number 4 in the last 5 games, taking on the Cubs. Bottom of the 2nd inning, and Rogers will lose his shortstop, Spike Owen. Owen tossed out of the game after arguing Mike Bielecki's 2nd strikeout, tossed out by home plate umpire Mike Winters. The game would remain scoreless through the first 5, thanks to some nice defensive plays like this one by Cubs shortstop Sean Dunson, making a nice dive and throw on Tom Foley. Expos would finally break the 0-0 deadlock in the bottom of the 6th. Andres Galarraga with his 71st RBI. This double to the right center field wall off of Bielecki would score Otis Nixon, and the Expos would lead it 1-0. On the mound for Montreal, Dennis Martinez looking for win number 11. He holds the Cubs to just 1 hit through the first 6, getting 3 strikeouts like this one on Mark Grace. The Cubs wouldn't get their 2nd hit until the top of the 8th, but it was a big one. Dwight Smith leads off the inning with his 6th home run. This a solo shot into right field. RBI number 19 for Smith. The 14th home run given up on the year by Martinez, and the Cubs and Expos are tied at 1. Home run number 15 would be given up in the 9th inning. Ryan Sandberg with his 32nd of the year. This one a 2-run shot into left field. RBIs 81 and 82 for the Cubs second baseman as Chicago takes a 3-1 lead into the bottom of the 9th. Paul Assenmacher on in the 9th would strike out the side. Here he gets Delino DeShields to end it. 3-1 Chicago. Bielecki gets the win. He is 7-9. Martinez drops to 10-10. Assenmacher 7th save.
A beautiful full moon over St. Louis tonight as the Cardinals play host to the Montreal Expos. Pick up action in the top half of the first inning. Tim Wallach will step up to the plate with Tim Raines at first base, and he will smack a 2-run home run to left field. This coming off starter Jose De Leon. For Wallach, it's home run number 19, RBIs number 84 and 85, and the Expos take a 2-0 lead. In the bottom half of the first inning, the Cardinals come back. Felix Jose will hit a single into right field. Bernard Gilkey will score, and the Expo lead is cut to 2-1. In the top half of the second inning, Delino DeShields will hit a ground rule double to left field as this one bounces over the wall. Jerry Goff will score, RBI number 32 for DeShields, and the Expos take a 3-1 lead. Later in the inning, Jose De Leon will uncork a wild pitch with the bases loaded. Otis Nixon will score, and the Expos have a 4-1 advantage. In the bottom of the fourth inning, the Cardinals get one back when Rex Hudler steps up and hits a solo home run to left field. Number 7 for Hudler, RBI number 21. And the Montreal lead is cut in half at 4-2. They get that run back in the top of the fifth inning when Larry Walker hits a solo home run to right field. Number 17 for Walker, RBIs number 43 and 44 as Tim Wallach also scores. That gives the Expos a 6-2 lead. That's the way this one finishes up as Chris Nabholz gets the win. His record now 4-0. Jose De Leon with the loss. His record drops to 7-15 as once again the Expos win it by a score of 6-2.
Ozzie Smith, Pedro Guerrero, and the St. Louis Cardinals in Montreal Tuesday night to take on the Expos. We pick it up in the bottom of the first inning. This is Otis Nixon at first base, and a milestone for Nixon. Here he steals second base, the 50th stolen base of the year for Nixon. Nixon, with only 228 at-bats this year, sets a major league record by getting 50 steals with the fewest at-bats in one season. We move now to the top of the second inning. This is Rod Brewer at the plate, facing Kevin Gross, the starting pitcher for the Expos. Dave Martinez, the center fielder for the Expos, makes a great catch, taking away a base hit from Rod Brewer. Moving now to the bottom of the second inning with the Expos leading 1-0. Andres Galarraga at the plate, facing Omar Olivares, the starting pitcher for the Cardinals. Galarraga hits a double to the right center field gap. This scores Larry Walker all the way from first base. RBI number 86 for Galarraga. The Expos led 2-0. Moving now to the top of the sixth inning with Montreal still leading 2-0. This is Milt Thompson at the plate. He grounds a single up the middle. This scores Omar Olivares from second base. The score was 2-1 Montreal. Then in the top of the ninth inning with Montreal still leading 2-1, Dave Collins at third base representing the tying run, 2 outs. Steve Fry will get Craig Wilson to line out to Delino DeShields for the final out. The Montreal Expos defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 2-1. And one final note in this game, we move back to the top of the fourth inning. This is starting and winning pitcher Kevin Gross. He picked up his first win in over 3 months. He was 0-8 in his last 17 starts. He went 5 innings, allowing only 5 hits and 1 run. He improves his record to 9-12. Omar Olivares is the loser. He's 1-1. The Expos win 2-1.